Hello everyone, welcome to the Pagan Perspective. This is Subs Week. My name is Tatiana, I'm your Wednesday sub-host, and today we'll be talking about St. Patrick and All Snakes Day. Okay, so when I first received this subject, I was a little bit worried as I really didn't know much about All Snakes Day. It's not a part of my practice and I had not come across the term before. So I did some research online and consulted a couple of books I have, and now I have a material here that I'd like to share with you and hopefully you'll find it interesting. So in a nutshell, All Snakes Day is a pagan response to the celebrations of St. Patrick. St. Patrick's known for having driven the snakes out of Ireland, and many people understand that the snakes actually represent the pagans and their beliefs that were replaced by Christianity. So viewer Annie, I'll put her name here, she sent us a question asking our opinion on All Snakes Day and St. Patrick's. And to kick off our discussion, I'd like to say that I think there are two very interesting yet distinct manners of approaching this subject. We could either walk down the historical path and try and understand who St. Patrick was and his true role in Christianizing Ireland, and that would mean discussing the hagiographies of the time and their true meaning, the involvement or not of people other than St. Patrick in Christianizing Ireland, when and where the major events took place, and even whether snakes really existed in Ireland at the time St. Patrick was there. And although I am sure that it would lead into some wonderful, passionate discussion, especially if you're a history geek like I am, I'm afraid that chances are we would not reach any conclusion. Scholars have been debating over who St. Patrick was and his true role in Christianizing Ireland. They have been discussing this since forever, and opinions go very different ways and there really is no consensus. So another manner of approaching this subject would be analyzing the myth and symbolism around the figure of St. Patrick. How can these celebrations be meaningful to us today? Well, not unlike other historical figures, St. Patrick evolved from history to symbolism, myth, and folklore. I think there's quite an interesting discussion just there without even going into historical details. And I dare say it might even be a more relevant discussion in present times. Like author James Head interestingly put during one of his talks at Oxford University, these days, as you would expect, myths are not seen quite the same way as in ancient times. They are far more seen as moral and symbolic truths rather than laws or actual facts of history. And another interesting input on the importance of myth by philosopher and author James Harvey Stout. Through these communal tales, we are connected to one another, to our ancestors, to the natural world surrounding us, and to society. Myths give meaning to life. So I really think that it all comes down to what the myth of St. Patrick and the snakes represent to each of us today. And considering the plurality in existence, I think it's quite logical to say that one same tale will have different meanings to different cultures and even to different people within one same culture. And that's because our backstories, our paths are so unique, our differences are real, and they must be acknowledged, celebrated, and above all respected. So I have a really hard time when I read things like, and now I'm quoting from a Facebook group, celebrating St. Patrick is akin to committing cultural genocide. it's like celebrating Hitler. I think that's quite a bruising statement in my opinion, and I think propaganda like that falls right into the dangers of the monopoly of truth, which in religious territory can be such a dangerous thing and leading to many problems the world has unfortunately seen far too much of. So it's my opinion that we ought to be very cautious when making statement about faith, because we might be unknowingly endorsing bad things such as hate and intolerance, and we wouldn't want that, right? So I very much like a paragraph from the Witch's Bible, which many of you might have read already. It's on page 176. Paganism is essentially tolerant, and so are wise witches. They will fight bigotry or intolerance or religious persecution. They will criticize what they regard as warped applications of the religious spirit. But they will not attack a religion or its followers as such. If they do, they are no better than the witch hunters. So my point really is, whether you are pagan or Christian or something in between, whether you choose to celebrate All Snakes' Day or St.Patrick, whatever is meaningful to you, do your thing. Go ahead and don't feel diminished or intimidated in any way. There really is no right or wrong manner of interpreting myth. There's just what's meaningful to you. I cannot stress enough how no energy should ever be wasted on pointing out who's right or who's wrong, because that's just such a temptation of the ego to be the one who's right and win the argument, and it's just silly, and it takes away your focus from your spiritual path. So another paragraph from the Witch's Bible. Now on page 175. Witches vary a great deal in their attitudes to other religious and occult paths, and even to Wiccan traditions other than their own. Some regrettably confuse juvenile rebellion with genuine judgment, and consequently damn everything and everybody Christian indiscriminately. Indiscriminately, that's a hard one for me. And it also says that all genuine religions are different paths to the same truth. I hope you enjoy this. Have fun in your celebrations, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.